a very distinct statement that came through on my drive over here. It was courage over comfort. What is your take on, because there are just certain things, I feel like I'm at a threshold in my life where it's time to step through the...
We would say that's bogus and bad advice.
Okay.
And here's why. Stay with us just a little bit, because you can be comfortable and courageous at the same time. Courageous meaning invincible, courageous meaning understanding that things are always working out for me, but you have to find alignment. You have to find alignment before any of those emotions that you call good feeling come. What was the genesis of this thought? Where did it start? The beginning of this thought. Courage over comfort.
Well, I'm at this threshold where I'm like, oh.
That implies something that cannot even be. It implies that maybe I'm comfortable in this lack of action, or I'm comfortable where I am, and maybe that's not reaching. But the thing is, you've hit right on the nugget that we are teaching all the time, that is the missing piece for almost everybody. It is your willingness to get into that feeling of well-being that is the key to every single thing that you want. You have to understand that you're not being tested, and you're not being compared, and you're not on trial. And that when you are able to focus yourself into the absolute comfort and clarity of your source, that then you're in a position where anything that you've tossed into your vortex over time can now, in an ease and flow way, come to you.
And I think I'm realizing why I asked that question is I'm around a group of people that don't understand they create their own reality. I mean, this is just kind of my work environment right now.
They don't understand, but they do create their own reality.
Oh, I know, but they they think Source and God and everything is outside them, and they're constantly responding to circumstances that they think come with an emotional response.
You and Abraham, we want them to understand that they are collaborating with what they are calling God all the time, and that God is on their side, and that when they have even the slightest of a realization that this is something that they want in their life, that it is understood and focused upon from that non-physical perspective, so that it must become a reality, and that in fact things and experiences that people want are becoming a reality all the time, with or without them. The question that you're asking here, and that this format wants to ask and answer, is, are you a cooperative component to your own desires? And unless you are in comfort, the answer is no. You can want and want and want and yearn and yearn and yearn and beg and beg and beg, plead and plead and plead and justify and justify and justify and compare and compare and compare. And what you've created just sits over there doing its happy thing, evolving with your inner being focused upon it, but you're nowhere near it. If you are struggling and straining and fighting and angry and pushing against.
So one thing I've noticed I've been doing the last, 6 months, is I kind of become a little more reclusive from people, and I just...
Reclusive? Reclusive?
Yeah, just kind of not getting as involved in other people's conversations.
Jerry wrote a paper, keep your ideas to yourself until they're fully developed. Because if you stand in your knowing of what you want, and you focus it into being... Esther's got a new plan that she's hatching, and she's so excited about it, and she's told 2 people about it now so far, and one very receptive, Mark, don't tell anyone, and the other, what are you talking about? And Esther thought, should have kept it to myself, should have kept it to myself, should have kept it to myself. Here's what we want to tell you. This is really important to know. You are magnificent human, but there's a better way to describe you. Calibrators. You're born as this vibration. Oh, we can say this better than we've ever said it before. You are a vibrational being in a vibrational universe, and your vibrations are being matched by the law of attraction. And so you are constantly being calibrated to what matches it. Does that make sense to you? Ornery ones are over there together. Joyful ones are over there together. Lovers are together. Haters are together. In other words, calibration is happening all over the place. And most people are a mixed bag. You do some of all of it, and so you can't really figure out what's going on. the conversation that we want to have the most often with the most people is that when you try to share yourself with others so that they'll get you, I need to explain what I'm talking about so that you'll understand. That's wanting to calibrate because you're seeking harmony, because you're born understanding that you are harmonizers. But what you're wanting to remember is that you are harmonizing with love, you're harmonizing with clarity, you're harmonizing with more, you're harmonizing with eternalness, you're harmonizing with infinite understanding. You're not harmonizing with shortage consciousness and lack consciousness and pushing against from the non-physical standpoint. So as you pay attention to your emotions and you feel sort of lonely and misunderstood or maybe not seen, then maybe the path of least resistance is to reach out to other humans to kind of have a therapy session or a, what are those parties called where they just get together and complain with each other. You kind of understand why you might be drawn to that until you get there and realize feeling a little worse, feeling a little worse, feeling a little worse, feeling a little worse, and launching all kinds of rockets of desire about what you now seek. So this is really what we were getting at with all of that rambling. When you realize that you can easily, takes practice, but once you get the hang of it, it's so easy. You can easily calibrate to your inner being. And when you also remember that your inner being is standing in your vortex with all your stuff, with all your hopes and dreams, with everything that you've asked for, every step along the way, when someone was rude, you asked for nicer. When somebody knocked you down, you asked to be more stable. When you didn't have enough of something you wanted, you asked for it. In other words, you have done a magnificent job of clarifying on the behalf of yourself and people you love, your entire planet, your own inner being. You have done a very good job of creating a reality that you would like to live. But you've got a bandwidth that is wherever it is. It's not very broad. And the thoughts that occur to you don't go outside that bandwidth. So let's say your bandwidth is, if you look on your emotional scale, let's say your bandwidth is 22 and 21. Well, that's not much of a bandwidth, but there's quite a range of thoughts in that. You could think a lot of thoughts about fear and grief and depression and despair and powerlessness and insecurity and guilt and unworthiness. You've lived a long enough life, all of you have, that you could find plenty of stuff to talk at your support group about all of that stuff. You could blend right in all of it. But then if it doesn't feel good and you decide that you're going to reach for something that feels a little better, you might bump up so that instead of 21 and 22 being your bandwidth, 21 and 20 are. Doesn't feel too much better. But then 20 and 19. Well, now your range is on the low side, jealousy, yuck. On the high side, hatred and rage, less yuck. You know why? In the hatred and rage, you're taking some of your power back. You don't feel defeated. Feel like you're going to do something about it. We really wouldn't want to encourage any of you to stay there. It's miserable. But we're talking about these bandwidths. And so if you are consistently reaching for something that feels a little better and feels a little better and feels a little better and feels a little better, what you begin to discover is that you can hold steady on who you are. So you don't have to hide from others who aren't there. That's what Jerry's paper was about. Keep your ideas to yourself until they are fully developed, until you have enough momentum going within yourself that even the best naysayer, even the best button pusher cannot get to you. And so you really don't want to live in isolation. And you need plenty of co-creation in order to define who you are and what you want. You have the ability to calibrate to your best feeling thoughts. You do. But you can't reach all the thoughts. We said your best feeling thoughts. The best feeling thoughts within your bandwidth. You're right now in this moment bandwidth. And if you do that on a regular basis, you'll just feel better and better and better and better and better. And some subjects you can move right along easily to what you want, and some subjects are a little more stubborn.
Yeah, there are several subjects that I'm pretty far along on and that are easy for me to calibrate to and feel really good about. It's just starting something new and then not knowing how it's going to unfold necessarily.
Well, keep your mind on your own business. Are you the engine in this vehicle, or are you the driver? Are you the pointer, or are you the law of attraction? Are you going to gather everything up, or are you going to know it when you see it?
I'll know it when I see it. For sure.
Well then, if you're going to know it when you see it, you've got to practice what seeing it's going to feel like. If you're going to know it when you see it, you've got to practice what it's going to feel like when you see it. How will it feel? Oh, it's going to feel real good. What do you mean? I'm going to feel invigorated. It's like our friend describing seeing that truck. You saw his glee.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I keep coming back to this.
All right, this is a good conversation.
I keep coming back to this, it's the excitement, but there's a part of me that feels like the little kid
That's split energy. That's yearning. That's wanting something that you're doubting. And so there's a tug of war that makes you wish you didn't want it. But too late. You already launched it. Your inner being's already got hold of it. All kinds of things have gone in motion. You signed the contract. You're on your way to this wonderful thing that you want. You've just got to stop noticing its absence or trying to not do your job, which is figure out where and how and who and when and how it's going to be. You stay focused upon what you want and how it will feel.
Oh, I just had a recent example of that, and it was like, everybody left on cloud 9 because it was such a great night and it was such a cool event. But it's, how do I calibrate that and so that it's tangible?
Friend,
I don't know how to ask that question.
You're not the calibration mechanism, nor are you the law of attraction. You are a pointer. You are a focuser. You are a focuser. And if you can hear this next thing, this will solve it for you and for everyone else. You're focusing the feeling of it. Everything else will take care of itself. You're focusing the feeling of it. So the event that you held, it was magnificent. Everyone had such a good time. The frequency of you was in such a high place, and it was so not diluted or contradicted. So you were in tune with your inner being and radiating such a strong signal that it made it likely, not absolute, but likely that most everybody in the vicinity was going to reach that through what they could smell or what they could taste or what they could hear. In other words, that's how it works.
That's totally what happened.
But when you try to micromanage everything, if you've known yourself, Esther knows herself as a micromanager, it's exhausting. And the people around her know it's exhausting too. Everyone just do your part. But let your dominant part for you be thinking about it. Thinking about it. Thinking about it for the pleasure of the thought. Esther's going to do something that requires a lot of moving of a lot of things. That was such a big hint, everyone now knows what it is. And when she thinks about the pleasure of defining it, the pleasure of deciding it, the pleasure of mentally moving it, the pleasure along the way of the fun people that she will play with along the way. Or she could think, oh, why would I put myself in a position where that much activity is necessary? Because it's fun. Because step by step is fun. Because co-creating is fun. Because new ideas are fun. Because that's what life is.
If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, and see you in the